The new generation of pop stars is taking over the music world, from Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan to Olivia Rodrigo, Addison Rae, Halsey, Lorde, Melanie Martinez, Dua Lipa, and Lizzo. They're not just topping the charts, they're building fortunes. So let's break down their net worth and see how they made their millions. You know what's wild? Chappell Roan went from donut shop shifts to platinum records and $10 million in the bank. So how did she flip a career flop into a financial empire? Let's break it down. Roan's first EP flopped back in 2017, and Atlantic Records dropped her. But she came back swinging with Good Luck Babe. That breakup anthem didn't just hit number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, it went quadruple platinum. 9 of her singles now carry RIA certifications, 12 platinum plaques, 3 gold. That's 13.5 million certified song units in the US alone. Her debut album, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, went platinum too. Given typical royalty splits, she likely pulled in $1.5 to $2 million from album sales alone. And then there's touring. Since 2023, she's led 3 headlining tours, and the Midwest Princess Tour was the real moneymaker. According to Polestar, she averaged over 2,400 tickets per show and grossed nearly $90,000 per night across 94 shows. That adds up fast, likely in the multi-million-dollar range before expenses. And it's not just the money. Her shows are immersive, part concert, part theatre, and that fan connection? It fuels repeat ticket sales, keeps her merch flying, and builds long-term loyalty. Streaming? Huge. Between Spotify and YouTube, she's clocked 6.4 billion streams. That translates to around $19.2 million gross at industry average rates, before any cuts from labels or platforms. Spotify alone brought in 5.5 billion audio streams. For context, that's more than some legacy acts with decades in the game. She's picky with brand deals, turned down H&M, teamed up with Sephora, eBay, and cool fashion houses like Rabanne. These aren't just ads, they're moments. Then there's her merch. Her store sees over 500,000 monthly visitors. Even with low conversion, that's serious income from fans who don't just stream, they buy. From Disney star to global pop sensation. Yup, we're talking about the multi-talented Sabrina Carpenter. With an estimated net worth of $12 million, she's proving talent, hustle, and a little Disney magic can go a long way. Sabrina Carpenter's big break came as Maya Hart in Disney Channel's Girl Meets World, where her sharp wit and emotional depth stood out. She followed that up with Disney films like Adventures in Babysitting and voiced characters in Milo Murphy's Law, and later took on more mature roles in The Hate U Give and Netflix's Tall Girl. In 2020, she made her Broadway debut in Mean Girls and starred in the Disney drama Clouds. But here's where it gets really interesting. Her recent album, Short and Sweet, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling over 362,000 album units in its first week alone. That level of success has boosted her earnings significantly. With chart-topping singles like Espresso, which hit number 3, and Please Please Please, her first ever number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, it's no surprise her bank account is growing fast. Sabrina's music catalog includes 6 studio albums, 2 EPs, 24 singles, and 31 music videos. To date, she's sold over 11.3 million album equivalents. She's headlined her own shows across the globe and even opened for Taylor Swift on her Eras tour. Now, let's talk brand deals. In 2017, she joined Converse's Forever Chuck campaign, followed by endorsements with Aeropostale and Samsung's Team Galaxy. She entered the fragrance market with her debut scent, Sweet Tooth, in 2022, earning a nomination for Fragrance of the Year. In 2024, she modeled for Skims and appeared in an NBC campaign for the Summer Olympics. And of course, what's success without some real estate? In 2018, she bought a $1.7 million home in Northridge. But after her success on Taylor Swift's tour, she upgraded to a $4.4 million Spanish colonial in Beverly Hills. Did you know Melanie Martinez is now worth $18 million? She turned alt-pop into a full-blown business empire, wrapped in childhood nostalgia and surreal vibes. Melanie started writing songs as a kid and landed on The Voice at 17. She didn't win, out by week 5, but it was enough to kickstart her solo career. In 2013, she crowdfunded her debut single Dollhouse, which blew up and got her signed to Atlantic Records. Her 2015 debut album Cry Baby hit number 6 on the Billboard 200 and went double platinum. Not bad for a DIY alt-pop artist. To date, Melanie's released 3 studio albums, 4 extended plays, 12 singles, and 32 music videos. She sold over 3 million albums in the US alone. That's roughly $4.5 million to $6 million in her pocket from album sales. Tracks like Dollhouse, Pity Party, and Playdate all went multi-platinum. In total, she's racked up 11 platinum and 9 gold singles. That's 15.5 million units sold in the US. Martinez isn't just a studio artist, she dominates live performances. Her shows are full-blown visual experiences, and fans show up big. At Madison Square Garden alone, one night of her trilogy tour pulled in nearly 29,000 fans and grossed $2.7 million. After all the cuts, artists usually keep about 85%, meaning Melanie likely cleared over $2.2 million in one night. She also commands between $55,000 to $80,000 for private appearances. Safe to say, she's not booking bar gigs anymore. Here's where the numbers really jump. Melanie Martinez has over 15.3 billion combined streams and views across Spotify and YouTube. With a modest industry average of $3,000 per million streams, that's about $45.9 million just from digital plays. She also has 22 million monthly Spotify listeners, 16 million YouTube subs, and 14.4 million Instagram followers. In other words, she's built a streaming empire. Melanie's more than a singer, she's a brand builder. In 2023, she launched Portal Perfumes with Flower Shop Perfumes. Before that, she teamed up with Koi Footwear and dropped Cry Baby Perfume Milk through Atlantic Records. She also runs her own merch store, selling vinyl, clothing, and more, keeping full creative and financial control. Lorde broke out with Royals in 2013 and redefined pop with raw, minimalist sound. She's released 3 albums, earned 2 Grammys, 10 Billboard Hot 100 hits, and sold over 6 million albums. As of 2025, she's worth $18 million, thanks to music, touring, and select brand deals. Let's break down how she built it. At 13, she signed with Universal Music. By 16, she had the world chanting Royals. What began as a free SoundCloud drop became a diamond-certified phenomenon. Her debut album, Pure Heroine, followed in 2013. Sparse, honest, and impossible to ignore. Then came Melodrama in 2017, chart-topping and critically adored. And in 2021, she swerved again with Solar Power, an indie folk daydream that split opinion but climbed charts. Lorde has released just 3 studio albums and 4 EPs, but she's sold more than 31.5 million singles in the US alone. Royals went diamond. Team and Ribs pulled in multi-platinum numbers. Her US album sales top 6 million units. At an average 15 to 20% cut per sale, her personal earnings from album sales cite between $9 and $12 million. And that's without counting global sales or streaming. Touring pushed Lorde beyond the studio. She designed each tour's setup herself, delivering sold-out shows around the world. At the Anthem in DC, she sold 6,000 tickets and made $819,125. At Radio City Music Hall, she sold 11,776 tickets and grossed $1.11 million. That's just 2 nights out of over 250 shows. Pollstar estimates put her total tour earnings in the high 8 figures. With artists keeping about 40% after costs, Lorde likely made tens of millions from touring alone. She vanished from social media in 2024, but her music didn't need constant tweets to thrive. With 9 billion Spotify streams and 2.5 billion YouTube views, Lorde's catalog has brought in over $34 million in streaming revenue. Unlike many pop stars, Lorde never chased the brand deal bandwagon, but when she did collaborate, it mattered. A 2014 MAC Cosmetics line, dark, bold, intentional. A jewelry collab with Meadowlark, minimalist and moody, just like her. Ever wonder how Addison Rae went from TikTok dancers to a $25 million empire? Let's break down exactly how she's making bank. Addison's rise started with TikTok, where she now has 88.5 million followers. And those followers? They translate to serious cash. Brands reportedly pay her around $88,000 per sponsored post. On Instagram, with 34.2 million followers, she was once raking in $219,000 per post. In 2022 alone, Forbes estimated she pulled in $8.5 million just from social media deals. Not bad for some viral videos, right? In 2021, Addison made her big screen debut in He's All That on Netflix. While critics weren't exactly blown away, the movie topped streaming charts. Her paycheck? A solid 5 figures. But the real win was the multi-film Netflix deal that followed, earning her a low 6-figure salary per project. Now, she's stepping into Hollywood's big leagues, starring alongside Ryan Reynolds and Jason Momoa in Animal Friends. That paycheck? Definitely higher. Unlike most pop stars, Addison isn't chasing tours or full albums. She's letting streaming do the work. Her debut single Obsessed hit over 59 million Spotify streams, and her 2024 song Diet Pepsi landed on the Billboard Hot 100 and went gold with over 500,000 sales. With record label royalties ranging from 20 to 25%, she likely earned $1 to $1.25 million from sales alone. Her latest track, High Fashion, is already pulling in millions of streams, meaning more money in her pocket. Addison is a marketing dream. She's worked with brands like Reebok, L'Oreal, Hollister, and Marc Jacobs. Just one campaign with American Eagle generated $4.26 million in media impact value. With that kind of influence, every brand wants a piece of her. Like any smart celebrity, Addison turned her influence into a business. She co-founded Item Beauty, targeting Gen Z with clean cosmetics. She also launched the AF Collection, a fragrance line projected to make $14 million in retail sales. These moves skyrocketed her net worth from $15 million in 2023 to $25 million in 2025. You won't believe the incredible journey of Olivia Rodrigo, the young pop sensation who's not only breaking records, but also raking in millions. Let's dive into her amazing rise to fame and how she's becoming one of the richest musicians of our time. Olivia Rodrigo, at just 21, has already taken the music world by storm. Remember the name because she's not just a flash in the pan. Starting out in acting at 12 with An American Girl, Grace Stirs Up Success, and later in Disney's Bizaardvark and High School Musical the series, Olivia was destined for stardom, but her real breakthrough came with her music career. In January 2021, Olivia released her debut single, Driver's License, which became an instant hit. In just 3 days, it was streamed over 15 million times on Spotify, breaking records left and right. Her debut album, Sour, followed in May, setting even more streaming records and producing hits like Good For You. Olivia's talent hasn't gone unnoticed. She was named Time's Entertainer of the Year in 2021 at just 18 and Billboard's Woman of the Year at 19. At the 2022 Grammys, she took home 3 awards, including Best New Artist. She's also won an American Music Award, a Brit Award, and 6 Billboard Music Awards. Now let's talk money. Olivia's estimated net worth, a whopping $16 million. Her income streams are as diverse as they are lucrative. Album sales, streaming revenue, endorsements, and tours. Her Sour tour grossed $3.1 million, and her ongoing Guts World Tour has already generated an astounding $41 million, with more to come as it's set to run until October. Olivia's music continues to dominate the charts, with over 17 billion streams and 17.4 million album sales. Every month, more than 55 million people stream her hits. She's also landed major endorsement deals with brands like Cassetify, Glossier, and Sony, adding significantly to her wealth. Ever wonder how Halsey turned a few bucks and a SoundCloud upload into a $30 million empire? Let's break down how one of pop's most unfiltered voices built a career that's equal parts chaos, creativity, and cash. Halsey didn't just drop hits, she moved millions. With 5 studio albums, over 60 million singles sold, and without me hitting diamond status, she's pulled in around $13 to $16 million just from album sales in the US alone. Throw in 6.5 million albums and over 6 billion streams. Yeah, that's big money. And speaking of streams, between Spotify and YouTube, her music's been played nearly 30 billion times. At roughly $3,000 per million views, that's an estimated $87.9 million in streaming revenue. Insane, right? It wasn't even the music that made her so rich, but more on that later. Touring is another moneymaker. While exact figures for her debut Badlands tour aren't available, later tours show her commercial staying power. Her second tour, Hopeless Fountain Kingdom, grossed $9.2 million from 28 shows. The pandemic cut the Manic World Tour short at 17 shows, but it still brought in $4.8 million. The Love and Power Tour earned $14.5 million across 23 shows. Early numbers from her 5th tour, for My Last Trick show $3.3 million in gross earnings from just 5 shows, selling 55,868 tickets and averaging $676,555 each night. After fees and costs, Halsey's touring profits still land in the multi-million-dollar range. But she doesn't just sing, she acts. From A Star Is Born to Sing 2 and horror flick Max Xine, Halsey stepped into lead roles and voice acting. Based on industry averages, she's likely earned a few $1,000,000 from acting gigs too. Now, here's where it gets strategic. Halsey launched 2 cosmetic brands, About Face and AF94. Just About Face made $50 million in its first year. She's done collabs with MAC, YSL Beauty, even wrote a best-selling poetry book. Oh, and she's an early investor in High Brew Coffee. All these ventures have doubled her net worth from $15 million in 2022 to $30 million. We're talking brand power meets business savvy. Dua Lipa isn't just making hits, she's making serious money. From chart-topping singles to blockbuster movies, her career has skyrocketed and so has her bank account. As of 2025, her net worth stands at a cool $35 million. So where is all that money coming from? Let's break it down. First up, album sales. Dua Lipa has released 3 studio albums, 5 EPs, and 37 singles. Her biggest hit, Levitating, is officially diamond certified, selling 10 million units in the US alone. With 2 million pure album sales and nearly 38 million single sales in the US, Dua has likely pocketed around $4 to $5 million just from her music sales. And that's before streaming, touring, and endorsements. Dua Lipa isn't just a pop star, she's on the big screen too. She debuted in Barbie, the $1.45 billion blockbuster, likely earning 7 figures for Mermaid Barbie and Dance the Night. Then came Argyle, her first major role. Despite flopping with $96.2 million on a $200 million budget, she likely still secured a solid paycheck. One major cash flow? Touring. The Future Nostalgia Tour in 2022 raked in $101.3 million across 80 shows, selling over 1.3 million tickets. On average, each concert grossed about $1.26 million, with Dua pocketing an estimated 8-figure cut. Her 2024 Radical Optimism Tour is keeping up the momentum, moving 635,000 tickets in just 35 shows, averaging $1.56 million per stop. Private gigs? She commands anywhere from $2 million to $6 million per performance. Then there's streaming. Dua Lipa has a combined 49.8 billion plays across Spotify and YouTube. With an estimated payout of $3,000 per 1 million streams, that translates to roughly $150 million in revenue. Over 10 years, that's $15 million annually, meaning she's pulling in about $1.25 million a month just from streaming alone. Dua's fortune isn't just from music. She's landed 7-figure deals with Puma, Chanel, Versace, and more. She co-founded Radical 22, launched Service 95, and now owns her entire music catalog, meaning every stream and deal pays her directly. Did you know Lizzo spent over 20 years chasing her dream before finally making it big? She started her music journey at 10 and didn't break through until she was 31. Fast forward to today, and she's sitting on a cool $40 million fortune. So how did she make her millions? Let's break it down. Lizzo's music is selling like crazy. Her hit, Truth Hurts, has sold 7 million copies, while Good As Hell sits at 5 million. In total, she has 20 platinum and 3 gold RIAA certifications, meaning her music has sold 21.5 million times in the US alone. Since she's signed to Atlantic Records and Nice Life, she likely earns about 10 to 15% from her sales. If we estimate $10 per certified sale, that's between $21.5 million and $32 million just from music sales. Lizzo isn't just a music star, she's acted too. She voiced Lydia in Ugly Dolls, appeared in Hustlers, The Mandalorian, and The Simpsons. While these roles weren't huge paydays, her production company, Lizzo Banger, certainly was. With Amazon Prime, she produced Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girl, which won an Emmy. She also executive produced Love Lizzo and Lizzo Live in Concert, likely earning millions. If there's one place Lizzo thrives, it's on stage. Her Cuz, I Love You Too tour in 2019 to 2020 pulled in $10.8 million, even with cancellations due to the pandemic. But her real moneymaker? The special tour in 2022 to 2023, which grossed a massive $86.3 million from 80 shows. That's an average of over $1 million per night. Lizzo's influence goes beyond music. She has over 50 million followers across TikTok, Instagram, and Spotify, boosting her brand value. On streaming platforms, her songs have amassed 6 billion streams on Spotify and 1.7 billion views on YouTube. Using a modest estimate of $3,000 per million streams, that's about $23.1 million from streaming alone. Music makes you rich, but business makes you a mogul. Lizzo's big girl. Big touring handles her shows, keeping profits in-house. But her biggest power move? Yitty, her shapewear brand. It reportedly made $1 million on launch day and was projected to hit $100 million in its first year. She's partnered with Dove, Quay Eyewear, Logitech, Urban Decay, and even starred in a Google Pixel Super Bowl ad, earning millions. From struggling artist to multimillionaire, Lizzo proves perseverance and smart business moves pay off. And with her empire growing, $40 million might just be the beginning.